Hey guys, I just finished playing. Well, actually, I actually dropped this game. To be honest with you, this is Reverse Collapse Operation Codename Bakery, which is an absolute mouthful. This was a weird game that I saw some people discussing, and it had a demo. I thought I'd check it out, and turns out, yeah, it's actually a really fun tactics strategy game. It does have an anime aesthetic, but it does feel more so based in the real world. Like, you do have, gruff man characters, so it's not just all anime girls and anime guys. It kind of hits this nice kind of realism where it's the future, and there's basically two factions, which are basically Antarctica and the rest of the world that has basically united in a resource war. While basically everyone was squabbling for resources, Antarctica became a superpower that profited off everyone else's wars with each other, and now finally the rest of the world is actually united to fight the Antarctic Union, essentially. And so a lot of these missions take place in the Arctic kind of environment, in the Caucasus Mountains, actually. And so the premise of the game, by the way, this whole thing is all based around Girls Frontline. As I understand it, I'm not sure if this is a direct spin-off or a completely new IP, but you can tell from the dialogue, the way the characters are animated, move slowly side to side, the aesthetics and the strategy of the game. This is very much based on a gacha, and so apparently this is what happens when a gacha company has made a lot of money. They actually decide to make a real game, and that is Reverse Collapse. And I might as well try to explain that title, since it is pretty much just an absolute baffling amount of nonsense. So Reverse Collapse is essentially, there's a kind of radiation called collapse radiation. There was some kind of Evangelion-esque like event where there's this huge explosion and this new type of radiation permeated the world, and this certain type of flower absorbs it. And so it's called Reverse Collapse radiation. And it says Operation Codename Bakery is the exact instance in this world that takes place. And Bakery is essentially the code name of the one of the main protagonists, the girl Jehuti, and the main character. Oh god, I just forgot his name, Mendo. And so basically, it's this whole thing where she was a government cover-up agent project kind of thing. Essentially, she has this superpower by using the new kind of radiation that she can super heal herself, so she can get shot in battle and basically heal really, really quickly. And she's called one of the immune or something. And so her superpower is just hyper healing, and so she is the contact that you have to basically extract from this region back to the Antarctic. And so basically, Mendo, the main character you play as, you get ambushed on your convoy, and all hell breaks loose, and you basically get separated from your squad, and you have to find Agent Bakery. I thought it was interesting that they use that as a term. It sounds kind of cheesy, but I recall things like, in the American style, they have Alpha, Bravo, X-Ray, Hotel Whiskey, etc. But Baker is at least the British term. They'll have, you'll remember in Call of Duty, they'll have like, Operation or Checkpoint Charlie, Baker, things like that. And so it kind of, you kind of eventually the whole thing makes sense. But what really attracted me to this game initially is that it's really well made. It's really, really high quality. And this is what happens when gacha people use their money to make a really nice game. I think what really impressed me a lot about it is not only are the tactics very fun, but the sound design, the sound effects in this game are absolutely top tier. Everything from the menu and the design of the UI, how certain keys you have to hold them and they make the right they just make the right sounds, everything from how the guns sound, how everything loads in, the dialogue boxes and everything, they just sounds amazing. And I've never what's really amazing or astounding to me is that I guess gachas, they have this philosophy of trying to make a very hyper immersive experience via phone, which is pretty difficult because the phone is it's touchscreen, it's strange, it's really weird, and so there's this kind of disconnect. And the one thing that really struck me about this game is something that I haven't seen in PC games for I don't think ever, is there's this philosophy in console where the buttons are like, because there's so few buttons, they are part of the experience in a way. Like the A button is the A button. You're not pressing X on a keyboard, you're pressing the A button meant for that experience. And so it might be hard to kind of explain or come across, but what they do here in this game is you'll press spacebar to essentially go forward through things, and you'll have to tap it, and sometimes you'll have to hold it. And I don't know what it is, but the holding of the spacebar to fill the meter to acknowledge, like a mission objective feels really, really good. Like the UI and everything, I guess from their gacha smartphone lineage really is shining through here. It feels really good just to navigate through the menus. And the other thing too is the music is fantastic. It really reminds me again of Call of Duty, of Rangers Lead the Way. Like it's very modern warfare kind of energy, and it feels really good. It's kind of orchestral and serious and intense, and it just I haven't heard something like this in a long time, and it feels really, really cool. And it was a lot of fun. The game, the way the game operates is pretty basic. It's a strategy tactics game. So everything is on a grid. Your characters have a certain amount of action points that they move around. And at certain points, they can then, use their gun to shoot characters, throw grenades, place landmines, etc., and stuff like that. I found it really intuitive how they had different buttons and ways to view the world. The biggest thing I think for me is that it would show you how many blue squares you could move. That would basically detail how far you can move without running out of energy to shoot, because shooting takes more energy than running, obviously. Like one square is one space. And so dark blue squares is you could run there, but you wouldn't be able to do any shooting. So I really love how they map that out. It's really intuitive and it's really cool, and I really love how they did that. There's also other things too where it would always kill me so many times in games where I would try to sneak by an enemy, and even on a grid-based system you think, okay, they can't see me, and then they do see you. And what I love about this game is it shows you you don't have to keep toggling between the enemy's viewpoint and your own. Basically, if you are in the enemy's if you walk close enough to the enemy to actually alert them, it shows this red sign and it makes a little noise to show that, okay, you can't do that. And I love that. There's something that I've been wanting from strategy games for so long, and I just haven't seen that implemented. Like the game is warning you, if you do this, you will screw up. The game itself is also very fair and also very hard. I was playing on normal. I had to turn it down to easy because it was just kind of hard and honestly just pretty long. The main thing was that you can basically retry every turn, which I think is insane. If you make a wrong move, you can basically rewind to the beginning of your turn, which is incredibly I would say unfair for the player, but it feels really, really good. And there's a lot of strategy games that just don't have that feature. And you think it'd break the experience, but it really doesn't, because the game is still very challenging, especially when you make a certain move and then 3 moves later, you're realizing, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. And then you have to deal with the consequences. But yeah, the game itself, you can quick save, you can save scrum. And despite all that, it's still a very difficult, fun experience. The other aspect of the game that is, I would say honestly, lackluster, unfortunately, is the story. And this is where it kind of gets into why I don't like this game. So presentation, audio, everything is great, but the story is just... it's just really frustratingly simple and boring. For example, we talked about Mendo and Jehudi. Essentially, Mendo's parents were the scientists who basically made this girl or something. Again, I didn't finish the game because, I mean, the biggest problem about this game is it's just too long. it is too long and it doesn't really develop a lot. And basically what it's revealed is this girl has special powers, and she basically is in a time loop, and she can warp back in time when things go wrong by killing herself, basically. And so she's actually the one trying to save you instead of you trying to save, Codename Bakery. She's the one that really is trying to save you in the whole situation by having these multiple selves and multiple time holes and whatnot. It's a pretty cool setup, honestly, and the whole political setting is very realistic and kind of interesting and somewhat believable. But at the same time, the story does not develop a lot past that. And this is the main reason why I dropped this game. And I haven't dropped a game in a long time, simply because there is too much content in this game. There's literally so much content that I got bogged down, and the story was not really moving forward or developing. A lot of the story is, okay, we have to go here, and then we go here, and then we get ambushed, and now we have to go here. Now we need backup. The dialogue also does not help, because there is a lot of dialogue, and it's really going over things we already know, which is pretty much the worst thing you could do, or it's just talking about what we're doing, where we have to go, but there's no real reason. You're just running from these mercenaries or this other army, and you're just fighting these guys. There's no deeper elaboration on that. There's not like a rivalry or anything. It's just like, okay, here's a new scenario, and here are the gameplay elements. So I will give it credit where credit is due, that I think it follows one of the golden rules of game design, that every single level it's introducing new mechanics. But honestly, it got to the point where it was seriously overwhelming. Every act has it's every chapter, of which there are 5. There are 9 or 10 acts in that chapter, and so just because of the dialogue, I mean, I don't know what it is, but like you'll do a couple turns in the game too, and then you'll have more dialogue. So it's not like you have dialogue cutscene and then pure gameplay. There's a lot of dialogue during gameplay as well, and really kind of messes up the, I would say, the mode, or the the style and the mood, I guess. It just really kills the flow of things. And I understand there's a lot of tutorials at the beginning, but it just keeps adding more stuff and more tutorials and more dialogue for enemies that isn't very interesting. And it became exhausting. It's like, okay, we're introducing like landmines, now flashbang, now stun grenades, now smoke grenades, now tear gas. Like they're just throwing so much at you, and you don't really have time to get acclimated, and you can't tell, okay, do I have to use all of these at once? You have points to buy and synthesize more items later. So at the beginning feels really good pacing, and I've never seen a game where it literally bogs me down with how much content it's throwing at me. All these different tools and items, and I can't really calm down because they just keep introducing more and more and more stuff until I'm almost sick of it. They also keep introducing a lot of skills. So your character has all these special skills, like, it'll, give them an extra power boost, an extra damage boost, better accuracy. Maybe it'll make them attack with another character. That's fine, but the issue is that the description for each one of these skills is always at least a paragraph. So I have to look at this and remember, what does this do? And in order to remember what it does, I have to read a whole paragraph. Again, the beginning of this game, it's very streamlined, it's very fun, it's very fluid and dynamic, but they just introduced so much content, I actually got tired, and it got to the point where I kind of almost thought about quitting, and then I thought, no, I'll push it to the end of at least chapter 2, and by that point, by the end of chapter 2, I put in around 35 hours, and I thought to myself, okay, I'm at the end of act or chapter 2 of 5, and so this game is going to be at least what, if you take 30 hours, so 60, more than 60 hours, and it's just there's just not enough quality content to justify a 70-hour game. I mean, the last time I might have done that is with Persona. So I literally got burnt out on this, and it's a real shame because I think it's really an amazing game. It's really fun. It's very fluid. It's very dynamic, but it just gets bogged down by its subpar story. It's repetitive, very bland dialogue. And it feels like nothing in the story really changes. We're just going from area to area. I mean, there are stealth missions mixed in with, combat missions and or assault missions, and then defense missions where your objective is only to survive. So it is those three types of missions mixed in, and then like some story missions where you have to like just survive and escape, etc., and things like that. But the story really does not go anywhere, and for a 70-hour experience, I couldn't do it. And so I just walked away, and I have absolutely no qualms about it, because I felt like, I mean, I somewhat care about these characters, but I don't really care. Like, I don't really need to know and see what happens to these characters. Mechanically, the game is amazing, and it's very weird and rare to have this instance where essentially there's so much content and not enough justification for that content that it makes it just like I don't know, if you're eating some kind of soup and there was no water, it was just all like meat. Like, it's not exactly a bad thing, but it's not soup, and it's not really what I can just deal with. So, I mean, that's the main reason why I quit, and I really wish that wasn't the case, because I was having a lot of fun with it, but it just became way too much of a commitment, really, without a decent story to really back it up. And that, I guess that's just the matter of it, really. What's really fun about Jehudi is that she is a sniper, so she has long-range attacks. Mendo is a submachine gun. Sometimes you'll fight with other weird, side characters who have shotguns, pistols, etc. You have two main other people, Javon and that other lady, and she has a pistol and like some kind of shield thing, while he has like assault rifle with a grenade launcher, which is really fun. Doing area of effect attacks in this game is super fun. You'll be using a lot of things like grenades, trip mines, some really funny things like holographic gravel. Basically, if you put that on the path during defense missions, it'll wear down the enemy's action points, so they can't do as many actions, obviously. What's also really cool is that every single tile on the map has a certain quality to it. So if you hover over it, it'll say house or snowfield or road, and it'll tell you if you have certain attributes. So if you're on a normal like area, you'll have negative evasion, negative defense usually, or like neutral. But if you're inside a house or on a sandbag tile, for example, you have extra elevation, and if you're on a hill, you have extra accuracy and elevation and extra range, which feels really cool and really good. Yeah, it's a really great game mechanically. You can tell they learned a lot from their gacha years, and this doesn't make me want to play the gacha anymore. I hate gachas any more than it would have. But yeah, no, I just felt the story was so lackluster, so dull. The presentation was pretty nice, but it kind of felt like I was playing a gacha in terms of how the content was laid out. Like, this was not meant to be. It would be so much better if this was a 30 to 40 hour experience rather than a 100-hour or 70-hour experience, which is what most gacha mainline campaigns are, because they expect you to push through to the point where you get stuck on the game, where it becomes impossible to move forward, where they force you and basically say, hey, you should really spend your real life money on buying some stuff. And so they basically brought that aggravating game time design to this single player standalone game, and they've also essentially just tried to make it into a normal story game, but their inherent design is so corrupt, basically, that it's just. And just the fact that the story of most gachas to begin with is super lackluster anyway, that it just does not it does not hit at all. It's really painful, to be honest. Again, I love the design of the weapons, the armor, the weapons, the armor, the guys. But man, it's just it's too painful, honestly. It's too much content ratio to I don't know what else what else there should be, but it feels like it's way out of scope. Like they have all this gameplay and all this content, and they don't have a real story or a reason to drive behind it. And for me, if I'm playing a game for the sake of playing a game, I guess this really shows it's just not enough for me. I need an engaging reason to play the game. And the problem is, after every chapter, Jehudi basically decides to, die and reset the time loop. So then you get to replay the same story again, kind of like Nier Automata, except it does change, obviously, but at least in Nier, you get someone else's perspective, or like the real truth behind things. But here, it's just nothing is really happening. And I've been playing, again, around 30 hours of this, and again, it's one of the best, like, I can't stress enough, it's one of the best strategy gameplay styles I've ever played. My favorite one of all time is, of course, Valkyria Chronicles, which is fully 3D, no grid-based system combat. And it does remind me a little bit of that. Like, I love sniping. I love, getting up on a thing, making a turret. Mendo, he has this really cool, his ultimate ability is that essentially he resurrects all turrets on the map, regardless of where they are, and gives them a damage boost. And it feels really good to do that, because you can deploy a bunch of turrets and have them all taken out, and by the end of the match, you can just resurrect them and they're completely ambush the enemy. It feels really, really good. And it's such a shame that I guess I can't play this anymore. I'm burnt out. I'm done. I got to the end of chapter 2 and that's it. Anyway, this is what happens when a gacha company tries to make a standalone single-player strategy game. I really appreciate the effort. There's so much quality here, but as an actual experience, I really can't recommend it, and that really pains me. They need to really trim the fat on this thing. It's so rare for me to say this game needs less content, but it seriously needs less content. I mean, I like how everything's streamlined. Introducing one new item or weapon per stage is fine, but when it's multiple items, you just get bogged down, and then you don't even get to use them in some cases because it's a stealth mission. Anyway, I think I've said enough, but yeah, that is Reverse Collapse Operation Codename Bakery, a weird Twilight gem that is great, but could have been truly great if it wasn't so much of so much of itself. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'll see you later. Bye.